very warm welcome to this special edition of Rajya Sabha Television Question Hour, where we bring you important unstarred questions asked by the members of the Rajya Sabha and the answers given by the government from the recently concluded winter session of Parliament. I'm KRITI MISHRA, and joining me is my colleague AKHILESH SUMAN.
Okay, Kriti, let's begin with one important question that is related to defense sector. And you know that Prime Minister Narendra Modi has given much more importance to defense sector because of we have to be ready with for any challenges we have to face. So in that context, government the question has been asked by Mr. R. Lakshmanan. R. Lakshmanan has asked us whether the government has established long-term strategic partnership with Indian entities in order to tie up global original equipment manufacturers to seek technology transfer, to set up domestic manufacturing, infrastructure and supply chain in defense sector. So you can understand that the question is in light of the government of India's policy, but he wanted a specific answer for a specific question. So what is the answer?
So Akhilesh, as you know, the defense production is at the heart of Make in India initiative of the government, and technology transfer is a very important component of that. And the government has given an elaborate answer here, and the government goes on to say that the policy on strategic partnerships in defense sector was promulgated on 31st of May 2017 as Chapter 7th of Defense Procurement Procedure 2016, titled as Revitalizing Defense Industrial Ecosystem through Strategic Partnerships. The policy is intended to institutionalize a transparent, objective and functional mechanism to encourage broader participation of the private sector in addition to defense public sector undertakings, Ordnance Factory Board in the manufacture of defense platforms. The four identified segments for acquisition under SP Route are fighter aircraft, helicopters, submarines, armoured fighting vehicles, main battle tanks. So these are the important components of defense acquisition. Moving on to the next question, and this one pertains to the Ministry of External Affairs. And this question has been asked by member E. Karim. And he asked whether it is a fact that our bilateral relations with neighbouring countries got worse during the last 5 years, and also whether government is aware that some of our neighbouring countries which were previously dependent on India for their basic needs are depending on other countries now. Certainly a very important question, yeah, right. And the answer given by the government also assumes a lot of importance.
Right. You know, Kriti, the government after coming to power in 2014 had declared that we will adopt a neighborhood first policy. So neighborhood first policy comes with Nepal, with Maldives, with Sri Lanka, with Bangladesh, with Bhutan and also with Pakistan. But you know, the way India has, you know, extended friendly hand with all the neighbors, it was reciprocated by almost all the neighbors excluding Pakistan. And you remember that Prime Minister Narendra Modi went to Lahore to greet former Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif when he was Prime Minister himself. So it was a big gesture. And according to that gesture, we were expecting that something very good will come from him, but it did not come from Pakistan. And as far as Nepal is concerned, there was some strain in relationship, and I think that members' question is, you know, particularly for Nepal, because in Nepal there was some issues earlier, but it was resolved, and now India has started many new projects in Nepal. So in that way, the government has said that relationship with neighboring countries had not got worse, but it has become better in these years, and you can expect that it will become further better if the government adopts the same policy for extending a neighborhood first policy, and also Sabka Saath Sabka Vikas Prime Minister Narendra Modi says, and he includes neighboring countries also in that you know, his formulation about foreign policy and domestic policy. So Kriti, I'll ask you another question. And D. Raja has asked the particular question about corporate social responsibility. As you know that corporate social responsibility is, you know, mandatory for all corporate sectors to spend a certain amount of percentage of their profit in social issues, social development issues. So in that context, he has asked that whether it is a fact that a high level committee was set up to set out a roadmap for a coherent policy and corporate social responsibility.
Well, the government has repeatedly laid emphasis on the strict compliance of the CSR guidelines, and the government goes on to say here that a high-level Committee on Corporate Social Responsibility 2018 has been constituted on 22nd of November 2018 under the chairmanship of the Secretary, Ministry of Corporate Affairs, to review the existing framework and guide and formulate for the roadmap of a coherent policy on CSR. And the scope of the committee is to review existing CSR framework as per Act, rules and circulars issued from time to time, to recommend guidelines for enforcement of CSR provisions, to suggest measures for adequate monitoring and evaluation of CSR by companies, to examine and recommend audit financial performance social for CSR, as well as analyze outcomes of CSR activities, programs and projects. So, analyzing the outcome is a very important part of actually implementing the CSR guidelines. Joining us on the Question Hour show is Member of Rajya Sabha, Mr. D. Raja. Welcome to Rajya Sabha Television, sir. You've asked a very important question on CSR, and the government has replied that a high-powered committee has been set up to ensure that there's enforcement of CSR provisions. How do you take that response?
Government has admitted they have set up an high-powered committee, but I do not know whether that committee has submitted any report. If at all that committee has submitted some report, what is the content, what are the proposals, what are their suggestions, we are yet to know, because corporate social responsibility is a very important thing. The private sector has grown in our country, corporate houses, big business houses have grown in our country. They should own up certain social responsibility. That is why this CSR concept was taken up, and Parliament passed an act. 2% of their profit should be earmarked for discharging their responsibility under this scheme. But how it is being implemented on the ground, it is a big question mark. That's why I asked, the government has admitted there is a committee, high-powered committee, but what is that report, what are the suggestions, what are the recommendations, we are yet to know about that. But the thing is, when we talk of corporate social responsibility, I understand it should be focused, targeted for helping socially disadvantaged sections of our society and backward areas in the country where the corporate houses are situated and they are doing their business. They must help the less developed areas to develop. They must help socially disadvantaged sections of our people to make use of this scheme and come up in their life.
And what could be the roadmap ahead for strict compliance of the CSR guidelines?
No, one is there must be a mechanism to monitor whether the corporate houses really earmark 2% of their profit under this CSR. That is number one. Number two, how they spend. It should not be at the discretion of the corporate houses, and there should be some mechanism where they should spend, which area they should choose, which sections of the people they should target. That is why I wanted the government to have a proper roadmap, because otherwise the CSR will be of no use. Because when the government conceived this CSR, there was a purpose, and that purpose must be served.
Right, absolutely. Point well taken. Thank you so much for talking to us on Rajya Sabha Television on the Question Hour show. So that was Mr. D. Raja, and now we'll move to the next question, and this one has been asked by member Shantanu Singh. And this one is to the Minister of Electronics, Information and Technology. And Mr. Singh has asked the details of the budgetary allocation and expenditure under the scheme IT for Masses for the year 2015 till 17 state-wise.
You know, it's a very interesting question. You know that after Prime Minister Narendra Modi assumed power in 2014, one of the major emphasis was digitalizing the economy and digitalizing the transactions. And IT for Masses program is one of the programs under which the government envisages to train people in urban areas as well as in rural areas so that they can be digitally literate. This project is under the central government, and central government has allocated budget under manpower development scheme of Government of India. So under this, states are not being given money, but the projects are being run by the central government directly. In that context also, the government has said that a scheme Pradhan Mantri Gramin Digital Saksharta Abhiyan has also been approved by the ministry, and also 6 crore rural household, means one person per household has to be made digitally literate by 31st March 2019. And this is in line with the announcement made by Honorable Finance Minister in the Union Budget 2016-17 to ensure equitable geographical reach. Each of the 2,50,000 gram panchayats are expected to register an average of 200-300 candidates. So it is very interesting, and you know that the whole scope and horizon of this program has to touch the individual household. So it's really very somehow you can say that also difficult task to catch one person, to train them digitally. But I think the way people are using mobiles nowadays and computers nowadays, they cannot deny it. So it's the thing. So Kriti, I am going to ask you another question, but this is not related to IT or technology or defense. It is related to very grassroots thing, that is scheduled caste and scheduled tribe. You know that government is running a program of a scholarship for scheduled caste and scheduled tribes, and Mr. Rakesh Sinha, who is a nominated member in Rajya Sabha, he has asked a question about the status of scheduled caste and scheduled tribe scholarship programs. So what is the answer?
Well, this answer has been given by MOS Social Justice and Empowerment, Mr. Vijay Sampla, and he goes on to say that the Ministry of Social Justice and Empowerment, Government of India, is implementing a scheme, namely free coaching for SC and OBC students, under which funds are provided for coaching eligible SC and OBC candidates for appearing in competitive examinations. The coaching is imparted through reputed coaching institutions, centers impaneled by the ministry under the scheme. And during the last 3 years, the amount that has been spent, this is in lakh, and during 2015-16, the amount that was spent was 682 lakh. During 2016-17, the amount that was spent was 150 lakh, and during 2017-18, the amount that was spent was 1,984 lakh rupees. And also joining us on the show is nominated member of the Rajya Sabha, Mr. Rakesh Sinha. Welcome to Rajya Sabha TV, sir, and thank you so much for joining us on the Question Hour show. You've asked a very important and a very pertinent question, which is about the audit and evaluation of assistance provided to SC/ST students. The government has given a comprehensive reply. What is your take on the response?
You know, hundreds of the crores money is granted to coaching institutes. These coaching institutes have been started with an intention to give parity to a level playing for the scheduled caste, scheduled tribe students. They need serious coaching institutes, and the performance of these coaching institutes should be evaluated. I have some reports that some coaching institutes are running with a fake re-enrollment and getting huge money. Therefore, intention of my question or logic behind my question is to have evaluation of all the coaching institutes. How many students are coming? Are they genuine? When they are planning to appear in the examination? What is the result that coaching institute is providing? If there are several NGOs which are organizing coaching institutes and giving 100% results. I can give you example of Pune, Kottayam in Kerala, and also other parts of the country. The batch of 100, batch of 30, these are known in the country. Then why not these coaching institutes are performing well?
Right, that's a very important one. And the government has also given the detailed analysis of the kind of assistance in terms of pecuniary assistance or financial assistance provided to these students.
You know, during the Narendra Modi government, financial assistance has increased. As far as scheduled caste coaching institute is concerned, 1,984 crore rupees they have granted. This is a huge amount, and if you are granting that money, that should go to the proper channel, it goes to the people, but those who are running the coaching institutes, there has been for the last 1 decade, the tradition of establishing coaching institutes and getting assistance from government has increased, and government is helping. But that help is reaching to the genuine people or not? That is the question. And I would emphasize, I will also meet the minister and I would ask him, they kindly create a mechanism so that all the coaching institutes should be evaluated, not in 3 years, but every year. After every competitive examination, they have to declare on their website how many students are appearing, how many students are taking coaching institutes, what is the result, what is the performance in comparison to the last year. These should be declared on website. Till now I don't know whether they have website or not website, so I cannot make a comment. But I think this can be one mechanism. Transparency will be finest thing to control these institutions. One. Second thing, I expect the government that a committee of experts should visit these coaching institutes and examine their performance. Also see the students and talk to the students, teachers, what kind of teachers are coming. Are you obliging teachers by paying huge money, or are they genuine teachers who are delivering things to students? My concern is scheduled caste, scheduled tribe students who are poor, economically, socially marginalized. Therefore, their social marginalization and economic empowerment, both things are my basic concern in this question.
Right. Thank you so much for sharing those inputs with us and joining us on the Question Hour show. So that was member Mr. Rakesh Sinha with his response on government's answer. Moving on to the next ministry, and this one is Ministry of Agriculture. And the question has been asked by member Tiruchi Siva, and he has asked whether it is a fact that investment in agricultural research would help to reduce dependency on imports and add to the export capacity of the country.
It's a really very important question, Kriti, because India is considered to be a country where most of the population are dependent on agriculture. And the government has said that in such a situation, I think government has given a data also that India is supporting 17.84% of world population. However, our land area is just 2.4% and water resources is just 4.0%. You need to really have a very good investment on technology, on agriculture research. And government has said that, food grain production has increased due to this emphasis, because government has given emphasis on agriculture technology and agriculture research. Government is saying that food grain production has increased to 284.83 million tons in 2017-18 from merely 50.8 metric ton in 1950-51. So, you can understand the government is comparing 1950-51 production to 2017-18 production. So, it is a huge increase, that the increase is huge, 5.6 times the government has claimed. Production of other agriculture commodities has also increased substantially. And in that context, government is telling that the increase in production can be attributed to research and extension, policy support, use of inputs, and also public investment in infrastructure. So, Kriti, now I will take you to, from rural areas to urban areas. Right. And, the question has been asked by member V. Muralidharan. V. Muralidharan has asked the details of fund sanctioned and spent on the development of cities identified under Smart City Mission. So, what is the answer of the government?
Well, Akhilesh, get ready for all the statistics here, because the government has given a very comprehensive reply, and Mr. Hardeep Singh Puri, who's the Housing and Urban Affairs Minister, goes on to say that a total of 5,151 projects worth 2,05,018 crore rupees have been included by the selected 100 cities in their smart city proposals. As on 30th of November 2018, 2,342 projects worth rupees 90,929 crore rupees have been tendered, of which 1,675 projects worth 51,866 crore rupees are under implementation or have been completed. The pace of implementation of projects has picked up significantly. There has been a 290% increase in projects tendered, 332% increase in projects grounded or completed, and 479% increase in projects completed since October 2017. So that's a rapid pace.
Really huge data, huge data.
And he has also said that the central government shall give financial support to the extent of 500 crore rupees to each of the selected cities over the mission period. And as you've mentioned, there are many greenfields and also existing brownfield projects.
Right.
Moving on to the next question, and this one has been asked by member Narayan Rane, and this one also pertains to the Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs. And he has asked whether government has formulated any plan for developing and metro rail in the country.
The way our urban planning is being made, transportation is one of the major areas, because if you have a good transportation, then only you can have a good urban cities. And in that context, that KRITI government has announced a metro rail policy in 2017. And this metro rail policy 2017 tells that we have to make a comprehensive transporting system connecting to the metro railways. And that metro railways have been started from Delhi, and now it is going to many cities. Cities also like Jaipur, cities like Bombay, Calcutta. Though Calcutta was the first metro project, but it was not as advanced as Delhi was. But now every city is adopting the Delhi model. And government has said that since metro in other states will come under the state policy, a state subject. So, center collaborates with the states, gives all possible help to states, and states plan their metro areas, that where metro has to be launched and in which areas metro will pass through, and accordingly central government gave them assistance.
So, these were the important questions and the answers that we picked up for you. Next week, we will come with more questions and the answers. Thanks for watching and stay tuned to Rajya Sabha Television.